Today we're taking a look at the 2016 370Z Roadster.
Now, as we take a look at the Touring Sport, we're not going to go into too much detail as far as the Roadster specs. We're going to do that in a separate video. We're only going to talk about what makes a Touring Sport a Touring Sport. So, getting started, now the features that you're going to be able to see on the outside, when it comes to the Touring Sport, you have nice 19-inch raised alloy wheels. These are specific only to the Touring Sport model. Very similar to what you're going to see on the Coupe. Any other Roadster is going to have a different style of wheels. Now, what you also see is these nice red Nissan brakes. So they're not just going to be red just to be red. They're actually going to be upgraded sport brakes, going to make sure you're going to stop a little bit faster, and they look a little bit more aggressive when they're painted red. But yeah, so as well as the Potenza racing tires, specific again only to the Touring Sport. So it's going to make sure you have your best grip on the road. Really nice drive, attractive, low profile design. Now, taking a look at the side profile of the vehicle, it's going to be actually really attractive, especially when you're comparing it to the regular coupe model. The Roadster tends to have a really like a sleek look, very aggressive, nice looking, especially with the top down. Again, like I said, it's going to be a really attractive vehicle. Coming here to the back, as you can see, the style is very similar to the coupe, but at the same time very different. You see how it's very sleek. Same backlights that you can see on the coupe, the LED design, and then the reflective here on the bonnet. Now, performance-wise, what you're going to notice on the 370Z Roadster, you have a limited slip differential. So it's going to be the same one that you're going to find on the 370Z Coupe Sport. So driving dynamics, driving-wise, you're getting a sports car all the way down to the real performance of it. Now, it becomes kind of like a luxury coupe when you add the Roadster, so it's definitely a car you're gonna want to take on a nice drive down the highway. You know, get some wind in your hair. You'd be surprised. The Roadster kind of effect, you would think it's gonna get very windy once we take it for a drive, but it's actually very quiet. So along with being attractive, quiet, it's one of the safest cars out there. Now, features-wise, you're still gonna see the same features as far as like HID headlights, you know, daytime running lights. So it's not gonna add too many features on the outside. These are features that are gonna be standard more in the Touring model. We are gonna see a couple changes once we get to the inside, but let's just take one quick walk around first, just get a real feel of how the 370Z Roadster looks, and then we're gonna be moving on to the inside of the vehicle. Okay.
That allows you to put some groceries inside of the vehicle, as well as the space here. Second compartment for you to store stuff. Obviously, it's very hidden. For that, you have to pull the seat all the way forward, go back, and nobody would ever know you have something back there.
When it comes to space, Nissan is actually very creative on how they do things. So you wouldn't think there's much space back here, especially considering how far back the seat is. But you actually do have some storage compartment, as can be obvious by this guy here. You can see, so even behind the driver, you have some storage compartments right underneath here. You can hide some stuff there if you decide to. So Nissan tends to be kind of clever about how they design things. So like I said, even though we don't have too much trunk space to work with, you do have a lot of space back behind the driver's side and the passenger side. You can go ahead and put some things in there. You have the speakers located right underneath here. Because this is a Touring Sport, you have active noise cancellation as well as active noise enhancement. So this one particular here, you're just going to use the speakers behind the vehicle to not only give you richer sound, but also make the engine sound just a little bit meaner. So yeah, it's a very attractive vehicle, as you can see. In the inside, it's gonna have pretty much the same features as a Touring model, so we're gonna save that until we get a little bit deeper into the Z. But as you can see here, the Sport, the seats itself, leather here on the sides with cloth on the insert, just to make sure that you stay where you need to be. You can see there the Touring features as far as like cooling, heated seats, navigation. But yeah, definitely very comfortable. So a two-seater for two adults. When it comes to a Roadster, you can't expect to have too much trunk space. So you can see here, once we actually open up the trunk, it's very minimal space. You can still fit like maybe like a golf bag in here and some couple groceries, but that's gonna be about it. There's no foldable seats forward, no access to anything else. Part of the reason why the trunk's gonna be so much smaller is because, of course, we do have the Roadster. So even with the top up, you don't get a lot of space. Nissan doesn't give you access to the trunk when the top is up. But you see, you have a pretty good opening for what it is. Size-wise, again, we're not going to be able to expect too much, but at least we have a trunk, something good. So here we are behind the wheel of the Z. So before we start the test drive, just going to let you know that this is with the top down, so you can see how everything sounds and how the car runs in general. Again, as always, the angles are not going to be the best at all times, especially not with the top down, you know. But just so you see, but towards the end of the video, I'm gonna switch to the top up instead of top down, so you guys get a chance to see the difference. But on the sport model, the suspension is a little bit stiffer, so we're right now in the sport model, so suspension does change a little bit, limited slip differential and everything like that. So driving dynamics is not going to be a big it is going to be different, but it's not going to be that big of a change. But as you can see, it's actually relatively quiet considering that the top is down. It's actually because of the aerodynamic design of the car is actually it's a little actually less quiet than in the normal car with the windows down. So that's like a main thing with this car. My personal car actually makes more noise with the windows down than the Z with the top down, which is phenomenal. But yeah, as you can see, overall the ride is not too bad. You know, very comfortable. No, because the sport brake's going to stop on a dime. Now we're going to do a quick acceleration just so you see how the car runs and how quickly it accelerates from 0. Now we're not going to do a burnout, obviously, so I'm not going to gun it all the way and take off, but let's just give it a feel. But if you're familiar with the Z video that I did, it's going to accelerate very similarly, given it's how it's pretty much the same engine. But yeah, overall, like I said, like I've mentioned, the quietness of the ride it's you know, pretty much unbelievable. There's not too much road noise, too much of the wind noise actually traveling through the car. Yeah, very comfortable ride, that's for sure. So again, with the big V6 behind the wheel, when you really need the power, it's going to deliver. When you want to coast and be a little bit more fuel efficient, it's going to be able to give you that too. It's definitely an attention grabber as I'm driving. You know, plenty heads turn around because a convertible Z is well, the Z as itself is very unique. Not too many cars out there that way. Not too many Zs out on the road. So when you see a convertible on top of that, it really can grab attention. So if that's what you're interested in, you know, it's definitely going to be a car that's going to turn many heads. As we start to drive, you can see how very little, like, how not rough the ride is in general. Even though it is a sport model, you know, the driving dynamics, I mean, it's very comfortable. Considering how it's the Roadster, it's more aimed towards luxury than for sportiness. You do get that, like, comfortable feel in the car. And if anything, now with the top up, it actually seems to be a little bit louder and more like road noise, not so much wind noise, but more like the engine sounds. I guess you can hear a little bit more the road noise as like the tires start driving. But so something small, but I guess something to keep in mind. personally, I do prefer the top down when it comes to the Roadster Z. But maybe some people might. Well, I mean, it's not going to be sunny all the time, as is probably evident right now. So probably don't want to have the top down all the time. But if you're one of those people that want to have top down in the rain, hey, I recommend it. It sounds a little bit better. Just wear an umbrella. And kind of picked a horrible time to take this car on a test drive. I mean, there is a bunch of traffic and, you know, a bunch of people running around and everything. So not the best time to give you a feel of how it drives, but you know, maybe I should have picked a different time for that. But you know, I still get an idea of how the vehicle runs. It's so smooth. So the power, the V6 that the engine shares with the 370Z, I mean, the vehicle shares with the 370Z, it's just like, you know, the perfect engine for a sports car. Powerful, responsive when you need it, and you can actually get some decent fuel economy where you're not driving crazy and accelerating pretty hardly all the time. But as far as refinements and everything, I mean, the steering is very like kind of stiff at low speeds. I mean, at high speeds, not so stiff at low speeds. So if you're like in the parking lot, you're trying to park, it's actually quite easy to park. So something to keep in mind is you're not going to be like working out your arms every time you're driving, unless you're driving at high speed all the time. And that, but because of the traffic, I guess I'm gonna cut this test drive short. Just at least I gave you kind of a brief idea of what it feels like and everything, how the sound is inside the vehicle itself. But yeah, you know, not gonna be able to give you too many crazy driving impressions with the vehicle. But at least you know how it handles, how it runs like and everything like that. But yeah, again, overall, it's gonna wrap up the video, and thank you for watching.
This has been the quick look at the 2016 370Z